Fresh off the practice field, we are excited to be joined by Dylan Laube. Correct pronunciation. Correct, Mr. Laube?
I appreciate that.
Love it. Well, fresh off the field from OTAs, man, we're so excited to have you hanging out with us here for a little bit. And so I was looking at the calendar, man, and so we are just, call it under a month since you got drafted, since the entire rookie class became the newest edition of the Silver and Black. Weirdest moment of the past month for you?
Well, first of all, it's been flying by, to be honest with you. The weirdest moment so far, I don't know, it's just been like a blur. I mean, it's been crazy. But I'm trying to think. I would say the weirdest moment so far was definitely just like coming here and like realizing that like I'm now in the NFL. Like I'm in Vegas in the NFL, and I'm like, holy shoot, like I'm actually here. Like,
yeah.
I think that was kind of just like where it like actually like clicked when I first stepped in the hotel, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm actually here. So there hasn't been anything really too crazy, but man, it's been so fast right now.
You know, we talk about like, you know, it's just this entire year really is going to be a year of first for you, right? First time in the building, first time putting on the pads, first OTA session that we're in the middle of, and I know that it's so hard to even get a gauge of like what it looks like, what it feels like in what is this late May, but you know, just first impressions of coming off the field today.
Well, it's been what, like a week and a half so far?
Yeah.
So it's been so cool. It's been so cool. I mean, just playing against these guys that are just unbelievable, and just kind of now like in the spot where I'm with guys that I grew up watching all the time, and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm actually here now. But I mean, it's cool, man. It's cool, man. Coach Pierce is awesome, man. Just he's a guy that you just won't want to run through a brick wall for. Just the whole staff, and just it's been such an amazing experience just with player personnel and the whole staff. It's just been so supportive, and I just couldn't think of a better team to be a part of so far.
You know, you talk about kind of having that balance of like, man, I used to watch these guys on TV, and now we're teammates, right? We're all 90 guys going in the same direction. Like, do you have to, as a rookie, like kind of consciously like not flip the switch, but be like, yeah, like it was really cool that I used to watch these guys, but now like we're together and, you know, a part of something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah, of course. I mean, our first goal is to win. So at the end of the day, like I see these guys on the field, I'm like, oh my God, like dude, they are amazing. But at the end of the day, like as soon as that first whistle blows, man, it's like, okay, like here we go.
Who was the guy that you're like, oh man, this is the NFL?
I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, you got Crosby, you got Minshew, you got basically, I mean, that whole team. I mean, even Coach Pierce, too, because I'm from New York, too. So, I mean, I grew up watching him play. So it was kind of just cool just seeing him now for, like, the first time. So, I mean, to be honest, like, the whole team itself has been kind of just such a surreal thing for me.
You know, I'm glad you brought up AP. And, you know, I was going back earlier today. And I think one of my favorite things that we do as a department is the draft calls, right? They're one of my favorite things every single year, man, because you get such raw, honest, like just fired up moments from all the guys that get drafted, get their names called. You, sir, took us to a new level, man. The energy was incredible. You know, Telesco's gotten a chuckle. You talk to AP, and AP's like, man, like you're fired up, you're ready to rock. Like
bring that dog mentality.
That's right,
man.
Bringing the dog mentality. Like, I mean, do you get to when you have two dogs like that? When we have a Dylan Laube dog and we have an AP dog, but like in all seriousness, like guys that bring the juice, right? High energy, highly motivated dudes. Like it must be fun to kind of feel that from your head coach.
Yeah, I mean, especially coming from like a small school too. Like it was such a long day for me.
Yeah.
That day 3 of the draft was so crazy. I mean, you were just waiting on the couch for hours, and I think I waited for 5 hours, just like sitting there, just watching every name, every single number, just getting called, and I'm like, when's it gonna come? And even like actually a couple teams called me. It was kind of more of like a prank call, kind of, but it wasn't at the same time. It was more like, hey, like we don't have any more picks left, but we're hoping to snag you after the draft. And I'm like, okay, sure. So like I was just like, oh man, like just the adrenaline rush from that. I was like, oh my God, it just drains you. And then finally, I got the call, and I was just so fired up, man. I couldn't even wait, dude. I just started just saying what was on my mind, man, and I was just so fired up that my dream actually came true.
Was there any part of you as you go through day 3 of the draft where you're like, man, I don't know if that name is going to get called today?
Yeah. early on, I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'm like pretty confident, and then as it goes on, like you have projections, you have all these mock stuff, and they have you super high, and then you're seeing all these names that were below you, and you're like, okay, so, and then it just goes on, and then at one point, I'm like, is this even gonna happen? So like I was kind of getting a little bit scared, to be honest with you, but eventually I got that call at 2:08, man, and yeah, it's been good ever since.
There you go. And we always talk about you just need one call. That's right.
It,
you just need one. You
one
don't
team.
Need, you don't need nine.
One team.
You don't need
all
32
teams.
Exactly.
Nope.
You need one group of folks to take a chance on you.
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what the Silver and Black did. But I don't know how much you've gotten to know my guys Daniel Carlson, AJ Cole, but I like to think, and they will vouch for this, our resident special teams advocate. I love teams, man. I love everything that it stands for. I love the excitement. I love kicks. I love punts. I love coverage. I love it all, Dylan Laube. Yes. When we look at you and what you're going to do as a rookie, AP said it. We heard from Tom Telesco. We heard about you too. You're going to be asked to contribute on special teams.
Yeah.
When you look at your career, what you've done thus far, what you're hoping to do in 2024 and beyond, where does special teams kind of, I don't want to say rank, but where does that kind of fit into your whole kind of persona?
I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just want to help this team win. So if it's on special teams, is as a running back, if it's on the defensive side, sure. Like at the end of the day, I want to just help my team win. So, but I mean, special teams has always held a big part. So special teams, man, that's my thing.
Love it.
From being a gunner, a jammer, being a returner, man, I've done about every single thing that you can name except for kick. But yeah, man, that's my thing. And I think it's super important. I think a lot of people forget that football is 3 phases and special teams is that 1/3 of it. And it's super important.
You know, the one thing, too, that I always bring up to young guys, but guys that have also been in the league for a minute, is you look at guys in the league, dudes make a really nice career dominating on special teams. There's going to be guys that go to the Hall of Fame in a few years that were primarily special teams players. So to your point, like, it is a third of the game, and it 100%. It is not a minimal third by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, man. Once again, I grew up watching Devin Hester, Percy Harvin, Matthew Slater, all the kind of greats that you see now that are like what you said are going to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's such a crucial part of the game where it kind of can flip the field for you, and it can kind of either gain you points or not. So it's definitely a play that is super important in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, love it. Music to my ears, Mr. Laube.
Come on.
So obviously kind of a unique portion of the calendar that we find ourselves in.
Yep.
We're looking ahead to training camp. You know, the draft is clearly in the rearview mirror now, but we're kind of in this middle OTA section mini camp coming here in a few weeks before we break for the summer. But like for you, like what do you want to get out of this next, let's call it 5-6 weeks before the team ultimately does break for the summer? I
would say just kind of adjust to the speed of the game. I know from college, high school, it gets faster and faster, but NFL is the best of the best. And I think the speed of the game and just getting a flow of it, and even if you're playing at any stage, like that first couple days, you kind of have to truly adjust to it. And I think especially here now, these next probably 4 or 5 weeks is where I'm going to actually have to learn the speed of the game and kind of get comfortable playing at that speed.
You know, we hear that from so many rookies too.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to adjust to that next level of, turn the afterburners on. But like, is that really just something as simple as like, hey man, this middle linebacker is way faster than the middle linebacker I saw in college? Or is it something a little more nuanced than that?
I would say yes. I mean, once again, you're playing against the best of the best. So you're not playing against certain teams where they're weak at certain spots. Like every team is the best of the best. And also, to my point, I think, especially these practices too, you have to also learn how to be like a professional. In college too, it's kind of, you're almost like a student of the game, and now you're truly like, this is your job.
Yeah.
So you got to have to learn to be a professional, and it takes time, definitely. And these first week and a half, it's been kind of a cool adjustment.
Yeah, and certainly, you know, everyone wants to be perfect. I don't think the expectation is perfection, right? But I mean, everyone's trying to get there. And I was telling our guys in the studio earlier, like, it's just so nice to see dudes run around on that field again, right? Like, it's been a while. It's been a few months since we've seen guys out there doing their thing. So it reminds you, like, okay, we're getting closer to camp. We're getting closer to the regular season. We're not quite there yet, but every single day we're getting a little bit
flying
closer.
by, I'm telling you.
Yeah, dude. And I talk about this every year, man. The NFL does a great job of making sure there's no real offseason for us where you just wake up and boom, you snap your fingers and hey, it's preseason week 1. Let's go do this thing for the next 20-something weeks. But it was so nice to meet you, man. And we were so excited to get you up here in the studio. Congrats on everything going forward. I know we got a lot to do in the coming weeks, but best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Just win, baby. Come on.
There it is.